Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and I am going to give it to you straight today. And is that really any different than any other day? Not really. I want you guys to know the 3 things you must get crazy good at if you want to have a thriving online business. And, you know, of course, there are more than 3 things that would be helpful, but I always like boiling things down to where they're simple, clear-cut, and straightforward, and cutting out all the fluff. We're all busy enough. There's so much information out there, and I really feel you guys enjoy it when I just give it to you straight, down and dirty. This sounds really inappropriate. I'm glad all my episodes have an explicit rating just to cover my ass. So here's the thing. In 12 years of entrepreneurship, I have made so many mistakes, you guys. It is beyond me. I can't even count them all. I've made mistakes that were stupid, that I should have known better. I've made mistakes because I was being lazy. I've made mistakes because I was trying to take shortcuts. I've made mistakes because I didn't take the time to learn something. I've made mistakes because I was trying to do it all on my own and I was overwhelmed and overworked and tired. And I've made mistakes just because we all make mistakes. And then there's some things that I did that were really smart. I will tell you, though, the mistakes far outweighed the smart things. And the good news is about this show and about me is I have no secrets. I have no reason not to share with you what worked and what didn't work in order to have your path to success, whether it is in a corporate job, it is starting your own company or a side hustle, whatever that may be. I want you guys to get there faster, smoother, easier, and costing you way less money and headache than it did me. Then I'm happy. Then I've done my job for you guys and hopefully making you laugh and having fun along the way, because we can't forget to have fun along the way, right? I mean, how many of you kind of forget to have fun? We get bogged down in the tech, all the content, all the things we have to do, all the research, all the Google University stuff, all of our regular daily stuff that we have to do anyway. And then we forget to have fun. And last time I checked, the reason why you're going after your dreams and building your dreams is so that you can have a more enjoyable life. You can have the freedom you want, the flexibility you want, the things that you want in life, whether it be, a cabin in the woods or a beach cottage or international travel, or have your kids at the best schools, or be able to afford a nanny or a chef, or, Louis Vuitton bag, or, weekly massages, whatever it may be. We have to remember that if we're not having fun and enjoying the process, I can tell you right now, you are not going to get as many paying clients. And it doesn't matter what specialty you're in. You're just not. what do I always say? And I'm going to keep repeating it so you guys hear my voice in your head, which I'm sure some of you do already. Sorry, not sorry. But energy doesn't lie. Who wants to buy from someone who's not enjoying what they do or having fun or having a life that they like? Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not exactly where you want it to be yet, but you're on your way. You can find something enjoyable in the process. And this is kind of a little bonus. This isn't one of the three things. I did not find the joy. I was so serious. I thought like to be a successful entrepreneur, especially as a female, you had to be very serious. You had to work all of the time. You had to do everything yourself. I had all of these beliefs. I didn't think anyone would take me seriously because when I started my first company 12 years ago, I was filled with self-doubt. I had very low self-esteem. I did know that I was like talented at marketing and branding and sales. You know, I knew I had talents. I knew I was like good at certain things and making presentations and training people and all that stuff. But at the core, I didn't feel worthy of having this life that I was really going after and trying to create. So I was like, it was really out of alignment. It was like I was doing all the things to create this life that I wanted, yet I didn't feel like I deserved it. So how do you think that showed up in my business? My first year, you guys, I probably pitched over 50 different companies and individuals, you know, in order to have them as a client. And I only got 2 sales. And here I was a known sales expert. I just didn't feel worthy of having it easy, having it, you know, designing a life in my way. I didn't. And I had to get out of my own way and I had to learn how to finally enjoy the process. And it took me years. And it doesn't have to take you that long. That's why I'm here. So, you know what? Let's not take ourselves so seriously. When we have more fun with it and we can like laugh at some of our mistakes and kind of just laugh at some of our idiosyncrasies and the weird crap that we do, it's, you know, everyone feels more lighthearted and people are more attracted to that energy. No one needs more serious, uptight stuff in this world. So don't be that. All right, let's get into these 3 things you must get crazy good at if you want a thriving online business. The first thing is, and this is not going to be comfortable for many of you, is identifying and processing your emotions. It's like, what? This is your first thing, Tiffany, that you're telling me? I thought you were going to like give me some like real practical stuff. You have to be able to identify and process your own emotions in order for you to be able to connect deeply with your ideal client and where they're at. If you are not able to access those emotions within yourself, how are you going to be able to intimately connect with your ideal client and therefore meet them where they're at so they feel seen, heard, and understood in the current struggle and situation and pain that they're in? And be able to have them go, yes, I feel that way. Oh my God, she really gets me. She understands where I'm at. And then also being able to express those core desired emotions of where they would love to be at and how they would love to be feeling. You can't genuinely convey that unless you can tap into those deeply yourself. And a lot of my clients who work with me privately are surprised when we do exercises like this because they can't even name a lot of emotions. It's like feeling good, feeling great, frustrated, angry. It's like that's a very small range of emotions. We're really complex. There are hundreds of versions and thousands of words to describe our different emotional states. And that goes for in most other languages outside the English language as well. And there's little nuances in words, right? Because look at the difference between frustrated, disgruntled, crabby, angry, bitchy, moody. Those are all kind of in that same genre, but they all mean something slightly different. So if you can't really identify and pinpoint those specific emotions and really understand in your body those nuances and what that feels like, you are not going to be able to identify and hit the mark with your ideal client. And therefore, that's why you are not having people and strangers easily convert into paying clients. Guaranteed. And let me just say this. I did not want to feel my feelings most of my life. I did all sorts of things in order to not feel them. It was subconscious. I focused on exercise. I became an exercise addict. Focused on work, became a workaholic. I would, date multiple guys at once. I would shop, whatever it took for me to not feel. So that was also why in my first few years of business, I had to work my booty to the bone in order for me to get sales. And looking back, if I knew what I know now, the stuff I share with you, and someone who I trusted, who I could understand was sharing with me what I'm sharing with you now, oh my God, I would have easily quadrupled my sales for sure by at least the second year. It may have taken me like a year to really learn this whole feeling my feelings thing because I was terrified of doing that. But for sure, my sales would have increased very, very quickly versus me operating pure out of robotic energy, if that makes sense. Okay. The second thing that you need to get dang good at in order to thrive online is you need to cut out distractions. And I don't mean like your kids yelling in the other room distractions. What I mean is we can get very distracted by looking at what other people who have like similar businesses to us or businesses that we would love to have like a version of. We can get really caught up in looking at their stuff, analyzing it. Ooh, I wish I had that. Oh my God, he or she is so smart. They're so pretty. They're so articulate. I'll never be like that. How are they launching all these fucking things at once? How are they on every single platform all the time? Oh my God, I would never be able to do that. This looks so hard. All their graphics are amazing. They're getting like 3,000 likes a post and I'm getting 2. You see where I'm going with it? When you might have good intentions when you're looking at other people's businesses, you may be looking at mine, right? Or even my podcast, because maybe you want a podcast, or maybe you have one and it's not gaining much traction. And you're doing some market research, which is good. And looking at what some other people you jive with and you like, and trying to kind of dissect and pick up different nuances and things that you can do to be successful. But that can become a slippery slope. Number one, it starts a lie going on in our heads that usually ends up subconscious, unless you have someone like me, like a coach like me, who will like go, hello, this is what you're doing. Someone who is pointing out your blind spots. You can trick yourself into feeling like you're working and being productive and doing things to grow your business when you're doing market research, but you really are in an in-depth scroll hole, and that's not an income generating activity. So then what also almost always happens, and I can tell you, it happens to me. I still fall into it sometimes. I've gotten pretty good about catching myself, but I can still fall into it as well, is you start going into that comparison land, right? The whole comparisonitis thing, where it's like, oh my God, I'll tell you this, the other day when I was, I've shared in, if you guys have been listening to every episode, which you should be, because what in the hell else do you have to do right now? I was sharing that last week. Like, I was really struggling with depression, feeling lonely. It was just really, this whole quarantine thing was really hitting me. And when I'm in that state, a lot of unhealthy coping skills will rear their ugly head. And one is me getting into a scroll hole and starting that whole comparisonitis. And I started going down a path of, oh my God, even with like people who I'm friends with in the online space. And I was like, oh my God, she's launching a new program. She has yet another course. She has a brand new freebie. She's going live every night. And it was like, oh my God, how is she having the energy to do this and the bandwidth to do all this right now? And what's wrong with me? Like, I don't have it in me to do all that. That just seems crazy. Maybe I don't have enough energy to be uber, successful, in this online space. And I went down this whole path with it. Then I finally caught myself. Who knows? It could have been a full hour and a half later. No joke. So do you see what I'm saying? What good did that get me? It can end up having you talk yourself out of the very thing that you want to do, even though you had good intentions to start with. So you need to cut out distractions. Mute people. I don't care if it's someone that you like, you're friends with. If you tend to scroll their stuff and get a new, comparison, just mute their account for right now. Set a timer on your phone. Literally set the timer with some obnoxious, like old school timer noise that goes off when the timer's up. Maybe you don't need to do a half an hour of market research. Okay. You can do 15 minutes and have that timer go off. And then you have to just commit and stop scrolling. Like, put the phone down, stop scrolling, because what I need you to do is stay in your lane. If you're always looking at what other people are doing, you're going to create a brand, services, and products and content that is what other people are doing. Therefore, it's not unique, and it's certainly not unique to you. So therefore, it's not in alignment, and it will not connect, and you won't stand out, and it won't work. If I see one more millennial pink brand color scheme, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. It's like that blush pink, and it's usually paired with gold. And no offense to probably many of you listening who have it. You may have had it for years already, and I think it's gorgeous. So I see why it's attractive, but I also think a lot of people have it because they saw a lot of people who they admire online have it. And it was like, ooh, I want that too, or that looks pretty too, or it's working for them. It could work for me. I need you to dare to set yourself apart and be different. Okay, that's so important. Different is what stands out. Unique is what stands out. And just because it's worked for someone else, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. If it's not in alignment with you, I promise. I've done all of this stuff and learned the hard way. So I want you to be spending more time consistently creating than consuming. And I know if you guys are being really honest with yourselves, I bet you right now, if you're really being honest, you've spent a lot more time consuming, or it might even be like equal consuming to creating. Creating is what makes cash. You guys are not going after a jobby here, as I call it, an expensive hobby. You're going after building a brand. Some of you are going after building an empire. So you need to stop consuming and start creating, and create from your own intuition, not what else you see out there. That's when the most unique products, unique brands, unique blogs, unique accounts, unique writing, unique style. That's when all those things are born, not from someone copying, from someone inventing and doing something new and fresh and different. So I want you to ask yourself, what can I do that's fresh and different and unique that feels good to me? Not because Polly the influencer is doing it and people are loving it and it's working for her. That's not fair. She's likely been doing this shit for 10 years. So that doesn't even, that doesn't compare. And it also doesn't compare because that might feel right and connect for her. That doesn't mean it's going to connect for you. And you guys might not even have the same ideal client. So be unique, be different, be fresh, and put the damn phone down and create versus consume. Like, you can consume 15% of the time. The rest better be creating. Okay. And the third and final thing you need to get dang good at. Why do I like saying that with an accent? I know, I'm weird. I can't do accents, by the way. Well, that's not true. There is one accent that I can do, and it's a Persian accent. So those of you who are Persian, who are listening, or Armenian or know a lot of Persians. I have an amazing Persian accent. I won't do it because I'm sure then I'll get a flood of people saying it was very rude to do. I do it with love. It's just because of like living in Calabasas land. I live in LA. Like I live in the land of the Persian and I have a lot of Persian friends and I just can do the accent very, very well. But other than that, my accents are so terrible. It's horrifying. Like even though like I can speak some conversational French, fun fact about me. However, as soon as I open my mouth, it's like the most obnoxious American sounding person speaking French. Like I can't even do like, even if I'm trying to be kind of obnoxious and be like extra French, it ends up sounding horrible. Okay. Anyway, third thing. You need to get really good at writing marketing and social copy that connects. Even if you have the funding or you're willing to invest the money in hiring a great copywriter, you are not going to be able to have that copywriter do a great job for you if you don't know firsthand the voice and the writing style of your brand yourself. I don't care if you have millions to invest in your business. You still need to find the voice and find the words and find the flow and the style of the written content for your brand on your own. And the only way to do that is by writing blog posts, is by writing Instagram posts, Facebook posts, submitting articles to different publications. That is the only way to do that. Do your own website copy. No one is going to be able to tell your brand story and your brand messaging better than you. Yes, copywriters can come in and enhance what you have, but if you aren't clear on what that is and how it connects and how you speak to your ideal client and how that is conveyed, it will be very hard even for the best writers to come in and do that. The reason why I'm able to now have writers help me with the vast amount of content that we put out there, through my email list, which if you're not on that is insane because I share tips every single week and amazing millionaire mindset exercises you can't get anywhere else. It's at projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. I don't talk about it that much, hence secret posse, but you want this. And you end up being the first to know when I come out with new things and get the best pricing and bonuses available. And the only place you can have that happen is by being on that list. But the reason why I am able to have writers now help me, I still write a lot of my content. I edit and review every single piece of content to this day for both of my companies. But I can have writers help me because I have a certain style. I have a certain lingo. I have a certain way I communicate. I have certain clear brand messages that I convey on repeat. A lot of you guys know many of my signature phrases, right, that I use. So because I have that voice and that style that I've developed over, a year and a half for Project Me with Tiffany Carter in writing, even a little longer than that, because before I even launched the company or the website or anything, I was obviously doing a lot of writing and trying to figure out that style and brand voice, but it takes time. You finesse it. You tweak it, you see what your ideal clients respond to the most, you massage it a little more, and now there's a whole plethora. Oh my God, how often do we use that word? Like once on the SATs. There is a plethora of writing samples out there for a good writer for me to hire to say, read these. This is my brand voice. This is how I communicate. And you can also, listen to my podcast and also hear how I communicate, my style, that educationally, edgy vibe and inserting, humor whenever possible, that straightforward, simple approach and cutting out all the fluff, then it's like, oh, okay. So people can then help you. But if I didn't do that first, which I didn't, by the way, with my first company, I spent a lot of money on hiring writers and marketing people to help me. And all they brought back to me was shit. And it was like, no one understands what I'm trying to convey. No one understands my voice. And I kept saying that over and over again, not really realizing no one understood it because I myself wasn't clear. I didn't have a clear voice. Do you get what I'm saying, you guys? I mean, you could probably describe to someone else, like if you're recommending them listen to this podcast or follow me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany or something like that. If you were to say, hey, you need to follow this boss babe, Tiffany, she's fantastic. No, but you need to follow her, and you then inserted, descriptive words about my style, guaranteed that you would be able to very clearly define my style, my approach, how I teach, how I convey messages, my heart, my soul in it, my integrity, right? And I know you guys are nodding your head like, right, that's true. You want to make sure people can do the same about you and your brand and business. And if you're not 100% certain, like, oh, absolutely, I know they can, then they can't. Believe me, they can't. I'm 100% certain I know a range of what you guys would say when talking about me or referring the show or, one of my products or my services or something like that to someone else. I know what you guys would say about my style because I'm very, very clear about it. And I tell you guys what it is, and my actions and my words match because it's true to me and it's unique to me. So I know you guys would be able to do that. So I want you guys to be that clear and confident in it yourself. So I hope you loved hearing these 3 things. I'd love to know what you think about it. Do me a favor, take a screenshot if you love this episode, post it on social media, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany, and then I will reshare. I mean, when I get a ton of them, I can't reshare all of them, but I will for sure reshare some of those on my social media, which only boosts your audience because I always like helping you guys grow your following with amazing people as well from the ProjectME Posse community. So wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.